The Amityville Horror by J. Anson. January 12th. George couldn't understand. Why did Kathy say he was yelling, "I'm coming apart"? He knew perfectly well what he had said was, "I'm coming unglued." Now he remembered he had been sitting in his chair when suddenly he felt a powerful grip lift up his chair with him in it and slowly turn him around. Powerless to move, George saw the hooded figure he had first seen in the living room fireplace, its blasted half-face glaring at him. The horribly disfigured features became clearer to George. "God help me," he screamed. Then he saw his own face emerge from beneath the white hood. It was torn in two. "I'm coming unglued," George yelled. Now, still groggy, he began to argue with Kathy. "I know what I said," he muttered. "Don't tell me what I said." The others backed off. "He's still asleep," Kathy thought, "and he's having a bad dream." "You're right, George," he said gently. "You didn't say that at all." She pulled his head to her breast. "Daddy," Missy broke in, "come in my room. Jody says he wants to talk to you." The urgency in the daughter's voice broke the spell. George snapped out of it and jumped up, almost bowling Kathy over. "Jody? Who's Jody?" "That's her friend," answered Kathy. "You know, I told you, she makes up imaginary people." "You can't see Jody." "Oh, yes, Mama," Missy protested. "I see him all the time. He's the biggest pig you ever saw." Then she trotted out of the room and was gone. Kathy and George looked at each other. "A pig?" he said. It struck them both at the same time. The pig's in her room. George ran after Missy. "You stay here," he yelled at Kathy and the boys. Missy was just climbing up on the bed when George stopped outside her bedroom door. He didn't see Jody or anything like a pig. "Where's this Jody?" he asked Missy. "He'll be back," the little girl said, settling the covers around her. "He had to go outside for a minute." George let out a breath. After the weird dream of the hooded figure, George had expected the worst when he heard the word pig. His neck felt stiff, and he rotated it, trying to work out the tight feeling. "It's all right," he yelled back to Kathy. "Jody's not here." "There he is, Daddy." George looked up at Missy. She was pointing to one of the windows. His eyes followed her finger, and he started. Staring at him through one of the panes were two fiery red eyes. No face, just the mean little eyes of a pig. "That's Jody," cried Missy. "He wants to come in." Something rushed past George on his left. It was Kathy, screaming in an unearthly voice. In the same move that it took her to reach the window, she picked up one of Missy's little play chairs and swung it at the pair of eyes. Her blow shattered the window, and the shards of glass flew back on top of her. There was an animal cry, a loud squealing, and the eyes were gone.